Have you ever wondered why we have to go through challenges in life? Why are difficulties and struggles an inherent part of our spiritual journey? It's something we all face at some point, moments where life feels overwhelming, and we wonder, why is this happening to me? Why can't things just be easier? It's natural to ask these questions, especially when we're caught up in hardship. We might feel lost or disheartened, unsure of how to cope or what the purpose of our suffering is. But what if these challenges weren't just obstacles to avoid? What if they were actually an integral part of our spiritual growth, a way for us to draw closer to God, deepen our faith, and discover the strength we never knew we had? In this video, we'll explore why accepting challenges is not just a part of life, but a crucial step in our spiritual growth. We'll look at how facing difficulties can strengthen our faith, help us understand ourselves better, and ultimately, draw us closer to God. It might not always seem obvious in the moment, but these challenges are opportunities for growth, opportunities for us to trust in God's plan and experience His presence in ways that we wouldn't otherwise. Sometimes, we view challenges as something to be avoided, something that hinders us from living the life we want. But what if we shifted our perspective? What if we saw challenges as tools that God uses to shape and mold us? What if difficulties were actually blessings in disguise? This article is about learning to embrace challenges, not just endure them, but to see how they can bring about transformation in our lives. If you're currently going through a tough time, this message is for you. If you feel overwhelmed by the weight of your struggles, or like you're standing at a crossroads, unsure of where to go next, I want you to know that you're not alone. God is with you in this moment, just as He is with all of us when we face challenges. We will explore how to shift our perspective on these difficulties and see them not as burdens but as opportunities for spiritual development. You might be wondering, how can a challenge be an opportunity for growth? How can something so painful lead to something good? Together, we'll explore the ways in which God uses life's struggles to build our character, strengthen our faith, and deepen our relationship with Him. If this message resonates with you, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Let's continue the conversation and spread the word that challenges, though difficult, are not the end of our story. They are the beginning of something greater, a deeper relationship with God, and a more resilient version of ourselves. In our journey through life, challenges are inevitable. Some may be relatively minor, while others may be life-altering and overwhelming. But regardless of the scale, one thing is certain. Challenges are opportunities for God to strengthen our faith. When we encounter difficulties, it's easy to feel lost or weak. We may even question why we are going through such trying times. However, it's precisely in these moments of hardship that our faith is tested, refined, and ultimately made stronger. In this section, we will dive into how challenges serve as a way to deepen our trust in God and help us grow in our relationship with Him. We'll explore how challenges act as a test of faith, refine us through adversity, and build our resilience in ways we never expected. In life, challenges provide opportunities for God to test our faith. When we face difficulties, we may feel weak and lost, but it's through these moments that our faith is tested and refined. When we go through difficulties, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, our natural response might be to feel frustrated or defeated. However, these very struggles are not just obstacles, but opportunities for God to test and strengthen our faith. Much like how a soldier is tested in battle or a student is tested in an exam, challenges in life are opportunities to prove the strength of our faith. The Bible tells us that God allows trials and challenges to test our hearts, to see whether we will remain faithful to Him or allow our circumstances to dictate our trust in Him. Challenges test our commitment to God's promises and show us whether we trust Him, not only in times of ease but especially in times of hardship. At first glance, it may seem that our faith is being broken during challenges. but in truth, it is being refined. Just like the process of refining gold, which involves intense heat to remove impurities, our faith undergoes a similar process. The heat of trials reveals what is truly in our hearts and helps us eliminate the fears and doubts that can cloud our trust in God. It's easy to say we trust God when everything is going well, but it's in the middle of hardship that our true faith is tested. In these moments, we are given the opportunity to choose whether to rely on our own understanding and abilities or to trust God completely. Even when we don't understand the reason for our suffering, just like gold is refined in fire, our faith becomes stronger through challenges. In times of hardship, we learn to rely fully on God and trust that He is always present to guide us through. Our faith, much like precious metals, is refined and purified through the heat of challenges. When gold is mined, it's not immediately in its purest form. The process of refining involves melting the gold at very high temperatures so that the impurities can rise to the surface and be removed. Similarly, God uses trials to bring out the impurities in our hearts, our doubts, fears, insecurities, and the things that prevent us from fully trusting in Him. During times of difficulty, we are forced to rely on something greater than ourselves. In the absence of our own strength, we discover God's strength. As we face challenges, we learn that God's grace is sufficient for us. Our weakness becomes an opportunity for His power to shine through. This process helps strengthen our faith as we move from relying on our own abilities to fully trusting in God's sovereignty and provision. Consider a tree planted in a stormy region. The winds and rains that batter it force the tree to develop deep roots in order to survive. The more it withstands the storm, the deeper its roots grow, making it stronger. Similarly, our spiritual roots grow deeper when we endure challenges with faith. We become more firmly anchored in God's promises, and our relationship with Him becomes stronger and more resilient. In the same way, spiritual resilience is developed through overcoming challenges. Each victory, each time we see God's faithfulness in action, builds our confidence in His goodness and strengthens our trust in Him. With every trial we face and overcome, our ability to rely on God's strength grows. We begin to see that the trials of today are not just about enduring hardship, but about becoming more Christ-like, growing in patience, endurance, and trust in God's provision. The story of Job in the Bible is a clear example. Though he faced immense suffering, Job's faith in God never wavered. He proclaimed, "Though He slay me, yet will I trust in Him." Job 13:15, one of the most profound biblical examples of faith being strengthened through trials, is the story of Job. Job was a man who lived righteously and prospered, but his life was turned upside down when he lost everything: his wealth, his health, and even his family. Despite the immense suffering he experienced, Job's faith in God remained unwavering. He didn't understand why he was suffering, and he didn't have all the answers, but he continued to trust in God's character. Job's story illustrates how faith becomes stronger through trials. In the face of unimaginable loss, Job did not curse God or turn away from Him. Instead, he acknowledged that God's ways were beyond his understanding but declared, "Though He slay me, yet will I trust in Him." Job 13:15. Job recognized that God's sovereignty was greater than his circumstances, and he chose to trust in God's plan, even when it was painful. Job's story is not just one of suffering, it's a story of faith being refined through hardship. By the end of the book, Job was restored, and his faith had been deepened. Through his trials, Job learned to rely on God in a way that he had never known before. God's presence and faithfulness during his suffering became a testimony to his unwavering trust in God. In this section, we have explored how challenges strengthen our faith by testing and refining it. Through trials, we learn to rely on God more fully, trusting in His strength and sovereignty. Just like gold is purified by fire, our faith is purified through hardship. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to deepen our relationship with God and develop spiritual resilience. The story of Job serves as a powerful reminder that even in the most difficult circumstances, God's presence is with us. Though we may face immense suffering, we can still trust in God's goodness and faithfulness. Our faith is not only about what we experience in moments of ease, but about how we respond in moments of trial. As we endure life's challenges, let us remember that they are not just obstacles to overcome, but opportunities to grow in our trust in God, to be refined, and to become more like Christ. God uses our trials to strengthen our faith, to make us more resilient, and to draw us closer to Him. When we face difficulties, whether large or small, we are often forced to confront not only the situation at hand but also ourselves. Challenges push us to dig deeper, to evaluate our thoughts, actions, and beliefs. Often, it's during these very struggles that we gain a deeper understanding of who we truly are and what we are meant to do in this life. While challenges can be painful, they offer us invaluable opportunities for self-discovery and for discovering the purpose God has set for us. In this section, we will explore how challenges provide opportunities for self-reflection, helping us identify our strengths and weaknesses, as well as how they can reveal the deeper purposes behind our struggles. We'll see how these difficult times can lead us to greater clarity about our life's calling, and how sometimes God uses trials to guide us toward the purpose He has designed for us. When we encounter challenges, we're forced to look inward. Difficulties help us discover our strengths and weaknesses, and also reveal areas of our lives that need growth and transformation. It's easy to coast through life when things are going smoothly, believing we know exactly who we are and what we're capable of. However, true self-discovery often comes through the challenges we face. When we're confronted with difficulties, we are forced to look inward and ask ourselves tough questions. What is this situation revealing about me? What am I learning about my strengths and weaknesses? These questions lead to growth both personally and spiritually. Challenges reveal aspects of ourselves that we may not have been aware of or may have been ignoring. They force us to step outside our comfort zones and confront our fears, doubts, and limitations. For example, when we are faced with a difficult decision, a financial hardship, or an emotional crisis, we may initially react with panic, anger, or despair. But over time, as we process these emotions, we may come to realize hidden strengths we didn't know we had, whether it's courage, resilience, patience, or the ability to adapt. Furthermore, difficult times also reveal our weaknesses, areas where we need healing, growth, or change. For example, someone who struggles with forgiveness may find that a difficult relationship or personal hurt forces them to confront their inability to forgive and grow in this area. Challenges hold a mirror up to us, showing us not only who we are in the moment, but also who we have the potential to become. These revelations about ourselves are often painful, but ultimately necessary for growth. They provide clarity on the areas where God wants to work in us, leading us towards spiritual maturity and emotional healing. In the process of overcoming challenges, we find not only our own strength, but also our vulnerability, which is where true healing and transformation begin. Through challenges, we often gain a clearer understanding of our purpose. Sometimes, in our hardest moments, God reveals the calling He has for our lives, helping us live with greater focus and meaning. When we face difficulties, especially those that seem overwhelming, it's easy to get lost in the struggle and forget the bigger picture. However, challenges often serve as divine opportunities for God to help us rediscover our purpose. As we endure hardship, we may find that the struggle reveals why we are here and what we are meant to do with our lives. It's in the moment of crisis that many people experience a turning point, a realization that the things they once valued or pursued were not as meaningful as they thought. Adversity has a way of stripping away distractions, helping us refocus on what really matters. This is the moment when God may begin to reveal a higher calling or purpose for our lives, one that is more aligned with His will. For instance, consider the story of Joseph in the Bible. Joseph's life was marked by betrayal, imprisonment, and hardship. Yet, it was through these challenges that Joseph's purpose was revealed to save his family and the nation of Egypt during a time of famine. Without the trials of betrayal and imprisonment, Joseph would not have been in the position to carry out God's plan. His hardships were not random. They were part of God's larger plan for him. Similarly, when we go through struggles, it can often become clearer what God is calling us to do. Perhaps we are led to a career change, a new ministry, or a different way of serving others. Sometimes, our greatest challenges become the catalysts for discovering our true purpose. We realize that the pain we've gone through enables us to help others who are facing similar struggles. Many people's lives have dramatically changed when they faced great challenges. Take Nelson Mandela, for example. After spending more than 20 years in prison, he emerged with a renewed sense of purpose to fight for freedom and justice. Every challenge he faced helped him understand his mission in life. The life of Nelson Mandela serves as a powerful example of how challenges can shape our purpose. Mandela was imprisoned for more than 20 years under harsh conditions for fighting against apartheid in South Africa. While in prison, many would have thought that Mandela's life and dreams were destroyed. However, it was during this period of hardship that Mandela's purpose became clearer. His time in prison was not wasted. It gave him the space to reflect, pray, and refine his vision for the future of his country. When Mandela was finally released from prison, he emerged as a leader with a renewed sense of purpose to dismantle apartheid and bring about racial equality in South Africa. His time in prison, filled with hardship and suffering, helped him to find his voice and mission in life. His challenges didn't break him, they revealed his true calling. Despite the decades of suffering, Mandela's life is a testament to how adversity can lead to greater clarity and purpose. Mandela's example shows us that when we face hardships, it's not a sign that we are lost or forgotten. Rather, it's an opportunity for God to refine and reveal the purpose He has for us. In Mandela's case, it was through his long imprisonment that his life's work was clarified and propelled him to become one of the greatest advocates for freedom and justice. In this section, we have explored how challenges help us understand ourselves and reveal our purpose in life. When we face difficulties, we are forced to look inward and reflect on our strengths and weaknesses. These trials not only refine us, but also help us discover the deeper purpose God has for us. The struggles we face often lead us to a clearer understanding of our calling and God's plan for our lives, just as it did for biblical figures like Joseph and real-life leaders like Nelson Mandela. Challenges are not meaningless. Instead, they serve as powerful tools for self-discovery and purpose. By embracing the lessons that hardships bring, we can gain a deeper understanding of who we are and how we are meant to contribute to the world. God uses life's challenges to shape our character, reveal our calling, and draw us closer to His purpose for our lives. Let us embrace our challenges with faith, trusting that in the midst of hardship, God is revealing the path He has set for us, a path of greater understanding, deeper purpose, and spiritual fulfillment. Life's difficulties and hardships are not just random occurrences, they are opportunities for us to draw closer to God. While we often perceive challenges as burdens or even punishments, the truth is, they are instruments that God uses to build a deeper, more intimate relationship with us. When faced with trials, our natural inclination is to seek God's help more earnestly. We turn to Him in ways we might not during more comfortable seasons. And through this seeking, we find that the very challenges that seem to push us away can actually draw us closer to the heart of God. In this section, we will explore how challenges serve as opportunities to deepen our connection with God, how they teach us to trust and surrender to His will, and how we can grow in our relationship with God through difficult circumstances. When we face difficulties, we often seek God more earnestly. Challenges are opportunities for us to deepen our relationship with God. They don't signal that God has abandoned us, but rather serve as moments where we can become more connected to His presence. It is often said that people grow the most during times of hardship. It is in the midst of trials that we are often driven to seek God with greater urgency and sincerity. When life is easy, it can be easy to take God for granted or neglect our relationship with Him. But when difficulties arise, we often find ourselves turning to Him more than ever, longing for His presence and guidance. Challenges act as a wake-up call to our spiritual lives. When we are faced with uncertainty, fear, or loss, we realize that we are not in control and that our own strength is insufficient. We become acutely aware of our dependence on God and our need for His intervention. And it is in these moments of vulnerability that God invites us to draw near to Him. James 4:8 tells us, "Come near to God, and He will come near to you." This promise suggests that God is always near, but our awareness of His presence is often heightened in times of difficulty. When we find ourselves at a loss for answers or comfort, it's natural to seek God more intently. The challenge then becomes an opportunity to grow spiritually by drawing closer to God. Our trials are the means by which God pulls us nearer, allowing us to feel His love, grace, and comfort more intimately than we might during more peaceful seasons. In challenging times, we learn to fully surrender to God. We let go of our sense of control and place our trust in His guidance and unconditional love. Perhaps one of the greatest lessons we learn in the midst of challenges is the power of surrender. When everything seems uncertain, when the road ahead is unclear, we often come to the realization that we can't control the outcome of our struggles. The need for control is a natural human instinct. We want to fix our problems, make the right decisions, and avoid suffering. But in reality, life's challenges remind us that we are not in control. In times of difficulty, God calls us to let go of our desire to control and to trust in His perfect plan. Surrendering to God is not about passivity. It's about actively trusting that God knows what is best for us. As we encounter hardship, we learn to give up our own solutions and entrust our problems to God. This is a profound act of faith. Surrender doesn't mean we stop praying, working, or seeking guidance, but it means we place everything in God's hands, knowing that His wisdom and love surpass our own understanding. The process of surrender is not always easy. We might struggle with doubt or fear, wondering if God truly has our best interests at heart. But as we learn to trust in Him more fully, we begin to experience the peace that comes with surrendering our worries and anxieties. The more we surrender, the more we see that God is trustworthy and that His plans for us are good. One of the most comforting promises of surrender comes from Isaiah 55:8-9, which says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." This verse reminds us that God's understanding is far greater than ours, and in surrendering to Him, we open ourselves to a deeper connection with His will and purpose. A powerful example of building a relationship with God through challenges is the life of Apostle Paul. Despite facing imprisonment, beatings, and many hardships, Paul always found strength and comfort in his relationship with God. In 2 Corinthians 12-9, Paul says, "But he said to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness.'" One of the most striking examples of how challenges can strengthen our relationship with God is the life of Apostle Paul. Throughout his ministry, Paul faced tremendous hardships, imprisonment, beatings, shipwrecks, and constant threats to his life. Despite the immense suffering he endured, Paul consistently found strength in his relationship with God. In 2 Corinthians 12-9, Paul shares the words he received from God during a period of suffering. "But he said to me, 'My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness.'" Paul's response to this revelation was one of profound surrender and trust. "Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me." 2 Corinthians 12-9. Paul's willingness to embrace his weaknesses and rely on God's power in the midst of his trials is a perfect example of how challenges can deepen our relationship with God. Paul learned that God's strength is most evident in our weakness, and that through suffering, he could experience God's grace and presence in ways that were impossible during times of ease. Despite all the pain, Paul found that his relationship with God became stronger as he relied more on God's grace, and he found comfort in God's presence during his trials. Paul's story reminds us that challenges are not obstacles to our relationship with God, but opportunities for intimacy. When we face hardship, we are forced to lean more heavily on God, and in doing so, we come to know Him in a way that we couldn't without the trial. Just as Paul experienced the sufficiency of God's grace in his suffering, we, too, can find that God's grace is sufficient for us in every difficulty we face. In this section, we've explored how challenges help us build a stronger relationship with God. Through hardship, we are invited to draw closer to God and trust Him more deeply. Challenges are not signs of God's abandonment, but opportunities to experience His presence more intimately. As we surrender our control to Him, we find peace and strength that come from knowing we are not alone. Just as the Apostle Paul found comfort and strength in his relationship with God despite his many trials, we, too, can find that God's presence is most profoundly felt during the difficult seasons of life. As we face our own challenges, let us remember that these struggles are opportunities to grow closer to God, to trust Him more fully, and to experience His grace in ways that we could not during seasons of ease. God uses our trials to deepen our relationship with Him, making us stronger, more resilient, and more aware of His unfailing love. We've explored why accepting challenges is essential for spiritual growth. Challenges are not just obstacles that hinder us, but are opportunities that God uses to strengthen our faith, deepen our understanding of ourselves, and build a stronger relationship with Him. They give us the chance to discover new aspects of our character, rely more fully on God's strength, and grow closer to the purpose He has for us. Challenges help us move beyond the surface level of our spiritual lives and take us into a deeper, more meaningful relationship with God. They are not something to avoid, but rather something to embrace as part of God's design for our spiritual development. When we face difficulties, they become the crucible in which our faith is refined. Through these times, we become stronger, more resilient, and more Christ-like. Instead of being deterred by hardship, we can see each challenge as an opportunity to grow spiritually, trusting that God will use every moment to shape us into the person He wants us to be. If you are currently facing a challenge, remember that God is with you through it all. He has not abandoned you in your struggles. Instead of avoiding or resenting the difficulty, embrace it as an opportunity for growth. Trust that God is using this moment to shape you into the person He wants you to be, one who reflects His character and draws nearer to His heart. Lean into Him during these difficult times, knowing that He will strengthen you through every trial. If you found value in this message, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Let's continue to encourage each other as we walk through life's challenges and grow spiritually together. Remember, challenges are not signs of failure, but opportunities to grow in faith and spiritual maturity. God is not punishing you through these hardships. He is using them to bring you closer to Him and to make you more like Christ. Accept your challenges as part of God's perfect plan for your life. Trust that He is working through them to refine you, to build your faith, and to lead you toward a deeper, more intimate relationship with Him. As you face each challenge, keep moving forward with faith, knowing that you are not alone. God is with you every step of the way, guiding you, strengthening you, and helping you become the person He has always meant for you to be. Embrace the journey, for it is through the struggle that we truly grow.